I got people. Oh, I meant to fill up my water before this thing started. Man, I've been sick. Woo! I don't know what the hell I had, but it knocked me out for a few days. First day, I kind of felt like even checking the internet. Howdy, Rick. Are you going to be late? Or I still got a little bit of a cough and a little congestion. I don't know how I sound. Sometimes the microphone amplifies it. I've been talking this way for a while, so I sound a little stuffy. Anyway, hopefully I'm back to pickleball tomorrow. Whew. As long as I started pickleball about a year and 2 months ago, and I don't think I've gone more than one day since then from playing. And hell, I haven't played in 4 days. So this is the longest I've gone without hitting some sort of exercise. Thanks, Tamper. So anyway, I missed Saturday. I haven't caught up. They've got so much going on with this with Trump and Biden and all kind of shit. So why is Rick live? Because I just decided to do a little live real quick instead of making a video on what's going on. I figured I'd do a quick live and maybe pick up something that I missed or clear up a couple things that people keep emailing me. Have you seen the tower shooter? There was another shooter, and I'm not really there, but I mean, I could be persuaded. You're soft. All right, I guess I am. Our government is so out of control, dude. It is just, if anybody thinks we have, I can't believe the Secret Service woman, the shit that she was testifying on. I mean, it was just crazy that people have any trust whatsoever in our government. I mean, they were like, everybody's calling for her resignation. Nobody could fire her. That's why our government is so, you cannot utterly fail and still not get fired in our government. There's a whole bunch going on. Howdy, she resigned. Yeah, I know she resigned, but you know, she should have been fired. When somebody resigns, there's usually a deal or they don't have enough to fire them. And, you know, there was some sort of plea deal to where, all right, we don't want to keep you, but if you go, we'll give you. She didn't just resign. I guarantee you, she got a promise. She got a retirement. She got a promise to another job. She didn't just resign. That's what she was holding out for. Yeah, her questions were absolutely ridiculous. Let's see here. So I haven't talked a whole bunch. So I've noticed just talking this a little bit, I'm coughing because I really haven't been coughing that much. But obviously, this coughing, this talking will cause me to cough. So let me try to get through a few of my little links here that kind of shows what's going on here. So there's a few things that I think is new, and I may not get them all, but hopefully I can pull them together here. So I still think we need to bring back tar and feathering. Back when people got tarred and feathered, that's when government feared the people. And when government fears the people, there's freedom. And when the people fear the government, there's tyranny. And anybody that does not fear the government or think we're not living in tyranny needs to really get educated because it's so blatant. I don't know. I have no idea what these are. Okay, so this woman right here, if you notice on one of the videos, I showed this woman in the background, and everybody was like, "Why wasn't she nervous?" And when firing started, she kind of just looked down, picked up her phone, and started doing that. And people were saying I was making excuses for her, and I couldn't accept the truth, and I didn't know what I was talking about. And they were like, "Dude, she's obviously new, blah blah blah." And I was like, people react differently to crisis. Some people panic, some people duck, some people run, some people stand up and look, some people take photos, some people, go for their gun. I mean, people react differently to crisis. So her reactions were odd to me, and it seemed strange, but I didn't think that she knew it was going to happen, and she's waiting there with her phone. There was plenty other places to set up a camera, like CNN Live with that high speed getting a bullet. Those are more concerning than her pulling out her camera. But now somebody is saying this is the assistant director to the FBI. I'm not sure that these are the same people, but who knows and who cares? I mean, if it was the assistant director, what was she doing there? Why would she be? None of the FBI likes Trump. They all hate him. They all know that he's going to dismantle that freaking crooked ass organization. He's going to put people in charge that aren't going to be on their left wing lying political bullshit. So why would the assistant director be there? But there's going to be people that swear up and down that this woman back here, and I don't know if it'll blow it up, this woman right here is actually the assistant director. I don't, again, there's no proof of that. Somebody just said it. Shit. See, that's what I hate. What I do is when I'm going through my Twitter feed, when I'm going through my Twitter feed and I find something, I right click on it. Let's say I found something on Trump right here. I right click on it. I either copy the link address, and then I come over here and I post it in a new tab. And then later, I've got all these tabs open of things that I want to talk about. Well, unfortunately, when I do this, sometimes I come to open it and this happens. So I have no idea what they removed, why they removed it, and what it was. But to me, when I see that, I always think it was probably something good. So I don't know what is gone, but it's gone. Oh, somebody said that was debunked, that it just looked like her. Well, I mean, I was saying that from the jump street. That maybe it is, maybe it isn't. What is she saying, Whoopi?
His audience. I don't know any women, and I know his grandchild was up on the thing, and they're trying to humanize them and
trying to humanize them, meaning they're not human. We shouldn't humanize them. We should hate them. We should try and kill them. We should try and assassinate him. But those mean Republicans, Trump put his granddaughter up there to try and humanize him. She is a disgusting
change your idea about who this guy is. Don't fall for that.
Trump, you're talking about. Yeah. Talking about Trump.
That host, I just can't even talk about that show. Those are the most freaking despicable women. Whistleblower tells most of Trump's security detail worked last Saturday were not even Secret Service, DHS. So this is a letter from, I think, one of the senators. I think I read it. Let's see. United States Senate, the Honorable Alejandro Mayorkas, Secretary, dear Secretary Mayorkas. Who sent this? Josh Hawley from Missouri. I write you in concern. See, all these letters and shit, they just don't mean anything anymore. It's like, you fuckers in Congress don't report to us. You don't answer to the people. I'm telling you, man, I'm not voting for one fucking Republican. I'm voting Trump, and I'm leaving my fucking ballot blank. I might just vote for the Democrats to kick some of those fucking shitty Republicans out to show them that I don't want their ass getting reelected. But I'm just so tired of the charades that nobody gives a shit. But anyway, everybody, all the politicians are putting in a great show. It's been nothing. Here's another letter. Is this a different one from a security detail? Maybe this is the same letter. What we got here? After troop shunning.
The agents are pissed. They're frustrated. They've repeatedly asked for resources. I mean, I just talked to one of the agents a few hours ago. I talked to some Sunday. The agents are pissed. They're frustrated. They've repeatedly asked for resources. Donald Trump isn't your normal average form.
Okay, for him to say that the agents are pissed and they continually ask for, I mean, look, as a cop, I was frustrated a lot of times when we wanted something and we didn't get it. So what? We were frustrated. Do your freaking job. Secret Service was supposed to secure the president, and they didn't. I don't care if they had 5 people. Then you don't bring him out. It's pretty simple. The Secret Service could have just went, look, the place, we're unable to secure it. It's not a safe environment. We have an open threat, unaccountable, roaming around threat that we can't find. President ain't going out, period. Secret Service has I get so tired of people making excuses for these agencies. And I was listening to Bongino a little bit today. And Bongino used to be Secret Service. He guarded the presidents. He did a lot of shit. And I trust his opinion for the most part. But he's a little, I mean, he said there's a lot of people ought to be fired and stuff. But he's a little bit more sympathetic than me because they're government employees. They're getting paid. They have a job and they have a duty. Anybody could have stood up. You know, these cops that are running around, oh, we saw the guy and we were told to stand down. Nobody tells me to stand down if I see a threat. I see a guy running around the freaking mall shooting people and I go, hey, I'm going to go attack him. And somebody goes, stand down. I don't give a fuck who you are. You don't tell me to stand down when there's an active threat and I can save somebody's life. That's just an excuse by lazy, incompetent cops and lazy, incompetent Secret Service. Secret Service is now saying that they were supposed to have somebody on that roof. And it was supposed to be the PD. They already said that. They said the PD dropped the ball. That was out. So when they're talking about out of the secure area or out of our zone, the Secret Service has what's for lack of a better term, it's an inner and outer perimeter. You have an inner perimeter to where everything's secured and locked in. You need to get through metal detector, etc. Then you have an outer perimeter, which is usually to keep people from approaching or getting close to your inner perimeter. So normally your inner perimeter is set up to where your outer perimeter is. You wouldn't set up an inner perimeter with freaking 40 tall buildings right there that they can see into your inner perimeter and go, okay, our inner perimeter is here and we'll let the locals secure all these freaking tall buildings. That's just stupid. So your inner perimeter has to give you protection from targeted areas or vulnerability areas that you're in. So for them to go, oh, that was the local PDs, they're just pointing a finger. The PD fucked up, and I think it was a female because they're not saying he or she. They're saying the team. If it was a guy, they would say the 2 men assigned, and they're not saying that. It was a woman, and she didn't want to go up there because it was too hot. And nobody wanted to tell her no because she would complain that it's unfair. She's being untreated unfairly. And she's a DEI hire and they're treating her bad because it's too hot. And she just started her monthly cycle and it's the heat affects her differently. And she has to have special considerations and blah, 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 blah. It was a woman that they put on the freaking ESU, Emergency Services Unit, or EST, Emergency Service Team, whatever. When I was in the service back in 78. The first SWAT team I was on, we called it the EST, Emergency Services Team. They weren't called SWAT in the military. They called them. Now I think they finally went to SWAT. I don't know what each agency will call it their own. Some bases will call it their own. Some SWATs call them SWAT. Others call them Emergency Service Unit. Others call them Crisis Negotiation Team, a CR, whatever. So there's all kind of names with little letters, whatever you want to call it. They let this woman on the team of this local PD, and she didn't want to go on the roof because it was too hot. Now, I'm not saying the guy didn't think it was too hot. The guy was like, shit, I don't want to go up there either. But the Secret Service knew that somebody's going to be up there, or they thought, or they told, or they required somebody to be there because they knew it was a credible threat. And people are saying now, well, it wasn't a Secret Service fault. It was a police fault because they should have had somebody. That's bullshit. The Secret Service is responsible for knowing that all their posts are covered. It's not like, hey, your job is to block traffic. And all of a sudden we got a highway going through and the Secret Service goes, all these cars are supposed to be stopped, but they're not stopped. Oh, well, we'll just let the president out. That's bullshit. If somebody was supposed to be there, the Secret Service should have confirmed that somebody was up there. And if they weren't up there, they should have said, we're not secure. It's not locked down. Don't bring the president out. Why isn't that person up there and get somebody up there? Pretty simple. I mean, it's not rocket science. You have an ops plan. You got all the shit. You got all the posts. Everybody's posted. Everybody's got a call sign. Somebody's up there in a control center saying, hey, is so-and-so posted? Yes. Com check. Everybody check in. You go down the line. Post 24 in position. Whatever the call sign is, in position. 26, in position. 28. And you go down the line and he's checking it off. And if somebody doesn't answer, we're like, why didn't this person answer? We need to find out why this isn't answering because we don't know if it's secure. It's not. It's a by the numbers checklist thing. So the fact that all these things went unchecked and they didn't know that somebody wasn't on that roof. And then when somebody was on the roof, which I kind of thought when I first, I didn't say it, but I was like, why didn't they target him immediately? And the only thing I could think of is they didn't know if it was friend or foe. So the last thing they want to do is shoot a friendly cop. If they shoot a cop, cops are not going to want to work with them again. So they were like, somebody was supposed to be on that roof. Now we're getting reports as a guy with a gun. He's one of ours. And then when it got out of hand, and then they probably check, hey, why are these people? Hey, where's the guys on the roof? Oh, we didn't put anybody on the roof. Well, there's a guy up there with a gun. Well, he's not supposed to be up there. Bang, 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 bang. And people are saying, oh, he waited for the flash. So there was, again, no communication, no command and control, DEIs running amok, bringing President Trump out. I mean, there was just so many failures on this, and it's getting worse and worse. I still haven't I'm not buying into this water tower. I know there's a lot of people are emailing me, texting me, all these things, TikTok, Instagram. Look at this, Rick, this proves it. Here, go to Rumble, this proves it. I haven't seen one thing that proves anything about the guy on the tower. Okay, I know it's talking, but that's just the way it is.
Former president. He's not Jimmy Carter sitting in the old folks' home. And oh, by the way, some other things are coming out, like the shooter had 3 encrypted accounts overseas. At the same time, we're having an Iranian plot.
Does that matter? How many people have encrypted accounts? I mean, I've probably had an app or two that was for encryption. I mean, I don't have one of those, what do you call it? I can't even think of it now. Where you send your VPN to where you can pay for this service and all your communications go through this VPN so it can't be tracked, which it can be tracked, but whatever. People will be like, oh, yeah, I'll do that. Government's got all our shit. I mean, for them to say there's no motive and we don't have anything on him and he's got no social media, that's all bullshit. Nobody believes that. VPN. Thank you. Yeah, somebody said it. That's what I was trying to think of. Thanks. So what? He had some encrypted accounts. Does that mean he's a spy? No. I mean, it sounds cool, and I'm not saying that this wasn't a conspiracy and the government didn't know. I just say because government is so incompetent, how do you tip the scales from incompetency to planning? Planning incompetence to unplanned incompetence. I mean, how do you go from all that?
So, I mean, I think this is going to go much broader, much deeper, but the agents are going to hold her to account. Their lives on the lines, and she was not giving the resources they were requesting. But one other thing, Jesse, that Pittsburgh field office was the one responsible for the advance. That was clearly not done appropriately and distracted by Dr. Jill.
And the Pittsburgh field office was also responsible for covering up that bribery Ukraine tip that came in as well. Are you saying that you're getting information that says there's encrypted communications between crooks and foreign sources?
No, what we know, and this was on the briefing we just received, he had 3 encrypted overseas accounts the FBI is trying to get into.
Okay, so why would a guy that's 20 years old, here's my questions on this. Why would a guy that's 20 years old who has no social media account have 3 encrypted accounts overseas? That seems kind of odd. I mean, I don't have 3 encrypted accounts. I hate the fucking government. I'm pretty bold about that. Nobody misunderstands my dislike, distrust, and hate for our government. But I don't have any encrypted accounts. I mean, this guy's got no social media, according to the FBI, and they wouldn't lie to us or cover anything up. I mean, obviously, it's the greatest law enforcement agency in the land. It's run by ethical people who would never lie and cheat and, try to overturn an election and spy on a president. And, I mean, the FBI, come on, it's the FBI. Those guys are good.
What do you mean by overseas accounts?
Well, we know that they were based in servers overseas, and so you've got to work over there with the FBI liaisons overseas to start getting into them through their authorities.
Do you believe this attempt on the former president's life has some sort of foreign nexus?
Well, we know the Iranians have been trying for years, not only him, but everybody, Pompeo and others involved in the Soleimani strike. And we also know, it's finally come out, many of us have been fighting this for years, that they pulled National Security Advisor O'Brien's detail completely away. He's had to go to his own private security and local law enforcement. So there.
Okay, so I don't believe that for a second. Let me tell you what that means. They pulled his security. That means they pulled government-paid, trained agents, and now they're saying he had to hire his own security. The government's paying for that private security. So this is this misinformation bullshit to try and get people. Ain't no government person taking their own money to hire their security, because their job is a critical threat and they're getting threats for the job. I mean, shit, we had to guard DA, the LA DA has like a 4 to 6 man security team all the time. It's got 4 to 6 DA investigators do nothing but provide him protection. I was on the witness protection team up in my county, and big freaking deal. We provided protection. Nobody's paying shit out of their pocket for them to say, oh, this poor guy had to hire his own security. He ain't hiring shit. He's putting a bill to the taxpayers.
There is all kinds of issues here, and we're going to get to the bottom of it starting on Monday.
Yeah, I'm just not so sure I believe everything that I'm being told about what's inside his phone yet. I just don't trust the people doing this investigation.
Yeah, no shit, you don't trust them. The reason why you don't trust them is they're lying. Look, if you guys remember the Uvalde shooting down in Texas, where the dude went in, teacher left the door open, she was out there smoking, put a rock in the door. No, she didn't. 400 cops showed up and they waited 2 hours while kids were getting killed before they went in. Meanwhile, the freaking highway patrol was out there arresting parents who wanted to go in and save their kids. So the cops stopped parents from saving their own kids in order to protect the parents, but they let the kids get killed. After that incident, because it was such a huge incident and all those kids died, every day the governor and the people in charge of investigation were doing a briefing on how this investigation is going. Every day there was an update. 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock. We got 2 briefings a day, showed up. Here's what we learned today. Blah, 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 blah. We'll have one tomorrow and let you know how we're going. The next day, here's what we know today. Blah, blah, blah. We found out this. We're following this lead, etc. There's no reason an investigation has to be secret. That you're just told that and people believe that shit. We ought to be having daily briefings from either Homeland Security or the Secret Service and or both and the FBI. They all ought to be there standing around with all their cops in uniforms behind them looking like we're all happy and great and we're protected and we're safe. And they ought to be briefing. Here's what we're doing. Here's what we're working on. And here's what we found so far. We're a transparent agency. We work for you. You people have a right to know. We almost got your freaking leading presidential candidate killed because we're incompetent and we're going to do an investigation. And anything other than that means they're fucking lying. Sorry. I mean, that's just the way it is. They're lying. Rick, you can't say that. The government's good. And all right, whatever. Believe what the hell you want.
With chaos. As of today, you could say the same about American politics. It's in serious turmoil, in large part because of the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. It has sparked a security nightmare, and the fallout is scary. In the last 24 hours, a series of events have unfolded at the Republican National Convention. One man was shot dead just 2 blocks away from the convention.
This almost got zero coverage. I mean, a dude with a gun shows up at the RNC and the cops shoot and kill him. And I mean, it was a bleep because the media wants to protect the media, who has been nothing but trashing Trump and Republicans as evil and Hitlers and we're destroying the country. And now people are trying to kill. If you have a MAGA hat on, they want to kill you. And because of this, nothing was heard. Nothing. I mean, it was just like dead. I don't even know if any of y'all heard about it.
Venue. 2 knives were recovered from him. In a separate incident, the local police arrested a man. He was trying to approach the convention venue with an AK-47.
Hardly a bleep. I mean, hardly a bleep about that. Dude with AK-47 trying to get in the convention. This is a different guy than the one that fucking was killed. Different one.
The rifle had a full magazine, and the man carrying it was wearing a ski mask. He did not have a permit to carry the gun. The weapon was found hidden inside a large backpack. The man was trying to conceal it. But what was he doing with an AK-47, and that too near the Republican convention?
Because it's motherfucking America and he'd have an AK-47. The fact he's trying to sneak it into fucking RNC might be a little problem. Personally, I don't have a problem with him having a gun.
We're waiting to hear from the investigators, but clearly the security threat still persists. And at this rate, it's becoming one of the most challenging presidential elections in America. Every day, new threats are coming to light. The Secret Service has stepped up security around Trump. Yesterday, he made another appearance at the convention, and this time, too, he was welcomed with loud cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the next President of the United States, President Donald J. Trump.
Look, I've chased guys with guns, fought guys with guns, knives. I've been in some pretty hairy shit, made entries on houses, had guys who wanted to kill me. I mean, I can't tell you the number of times somebody said they were going to kill me and my family. They were going to follow me. I'm going to find you. You know, guys you send to prison, they're always going to get out. They're going to hire somebody, but whatever. So I got to think Trump, in the back of his mind, every time he walks out now, it's kind of like, am I really safe? Are these guys really, am I sticking my neck out here to get shot because I don't trust any fucking body? I mean, do you really think he trusts his Secret Service agents around him? I don't think I would. I mean, I'd be hand-picking some motherfuckers who are anti-left-wing hate, and you better be a freaking pro-Trump dude to work for me. And I got to know you're a pro-Trump dude. I can't be having, you know, some fucking DEI motherfucking rainbow wearing flag school teacher that fucking part-times as a Secret Service agent. I mean, is he really fucking safe? Danny, lunch at Rudy's, Rick. Are you in town, dude? I'm still a little sick. I'm gonna play pickleball tomorrow. So do you think Trump's really safe every time he walks out? I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I told that story, one of my crazy cop stories, where that one dude, what was his name? Was it Cricket or Chicken? I can't believe his street name. He had a little gang street name. I think it was Chicken. And we hooked him up and we wanted him to find somebody bigger. So we got him on some bullshit warrant. And we're like, dude, we'll let you go if you can help us find this dude because he's felon, blah, blah. So get in the back of our car. We're going to drive you around and, you know, if you can point him out. No, man, I don't want to be in your car. They're going to blow you up. And I'm like, what? And me and my partner, Joey, we're like, what? He goes, no, man. He goes, you guys are marked. You guys been fucking too many people up. They're going to kill you. He goes, I don't want to be in your car. He goes, call the mark unit. I'd rather go to jail. And I'm like, dude, you ain't going to jail. Get in the fucking car. No, man, I don't want to get in your guys' car, man. You guys' car are marked. You guys are dead. I'm telling you. And I mean, he was scared to fight. And me and Joe was looking at each other. We're laughing. And this dude was literally, this little hardened gangbanger, so to speak, was scared to death to be seen in our car and did not want to be in our car in case they fucking firebombed us when he was in a car. And, you know, I was like, all right, whatever. We ended up booking him because he wouldn't cooperate, etc. And I just made a memo. I went back and I typed a memo. Hey, if me and Joe ends up getting blown up, blah, 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 on this day, we transport a guy named Chicken, contact this dude. He knows who's making a threat. Evidently, so they're going to blow us up. So if we end up getting blown up, here's who to contact. And that's all I did. I forwarded a memo to my supervisor and I think the chief, and that was it. And it wasn't like a big freaking deal. So, but Trump actually had a bullet tried to blow his head off with Secret Service protection. How can he feel safe? It's just freaking crazy to me.
Yesterday, Trump secured his nomination. It was unanimous. Some of his fiercest critics are also coming around now. They're rallying behind the former president, like Nikki Haley. A few months ago, Nikki Haley was...
I don't like her. I don't trust her. She's full of shit. She's a snake in the grass. I don't care if she endorsed him or gave him a shit. She's on my shit list. She's done. I don't care about her.
Putting up a fight, challenging Donald Trump during the primaries. But yesterday, she offered her full-throated support to him.
Yeah, whatever.
Donald Trump has my strong endorsement, period. If we have 4 more years of Biden or a single day.
It's amazing how these people call him Hitler, racist, all these freaking names. And then all of a sudden they turn around and it's supposed to be under party. Fuck the party. I ain't party unity. I'm standing for what's right and wrong. Trump's a good guy. He's freaking good for America. That's why I don't give a fuck about the Republicans or who's supporting him and who doesn't, or who's trying to kill him and who's not. I don't care. I mean, our politics are just so, it's like Biden right now. Well, last week, I'm in for the long haul. I'm not quitting. All of a sudden, he's freaking quitting. And I'm not voting to Kamala Harris. She's a piece of shit. Oh, now I'm endorsing her. And she's like, oh, I love him. And he's like, oh, I love you. And I'm just like, oh, you guys just lie with impunity. In a country of lies, truth is treason.
Day of Harris, our country will be badly worse off. For the sake of our nation, we have to go with Donald Trump.
Another endorsement came from Ron DeSantis. He, too, is a former rival. At one point, he was among the favorites to secure a presidential nomination from the Republican Party.
Another guy talking shit about Trump. I think he called him Hitler at one point. Now he's supporting him.
Ron DeSantis ran an aggressive tank.
Send Joe Biden back to his basement and let's send Donald Trump back to the White House. 24 hours cannot afford.
On his ear. It has become a powerful metaphor, a campaigning tool even. Trump supporters are showing up with bandaged ears.
Oh, I didn't even know this. People are showing up with a bandaged ear. That's pretty funny.
A mark of solidarity. The internet is abuzz. Bandage memes are going viral. Take a look at this. There is a clear Trump wave, and the Republicans are trying to make the most of it. They're trying to woo young voters, and leading the charge here is Vivek Ramaswamy, another former presidential hopeful who challenged Trump in.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about this guy. He says all the right shit, but I don't know if I can trust him either.
J.D. Vance. Yesterday, Ramaswamy made an outreach to the Gen Z voters.
And our message to Gen Z is this: you're going to be the generation that actually saves this country. You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative. If you're at home and you disagree with everything I just said, our message to you is this: we will still defend to the death your right to say it.
But what about the other side, the Democrats? Joe Biden resumed his campaign events yesterday. He'd paused them after the Trump.
So I'm not sure.
His best to match the end.
I'm not sure why I put this in here. It was just basically about I wanted to get the things out there on illegal immigration. This chart showed President Trump's. Oh, this is the chart that saved Trump's life. This is the chart that he put up, and he moved his head to look and see. So this chart should really be I'm surprised nobody has a tattoo of it yet. This chart saved President Trump because he couldn't see it and he leaned his head to look at it. I mean, the irony of just freaking how close he came to being dead. And you know what? What would have happened if Trump would have been dead? What would happen if the bullet killed Trump? Not exactly what's happening now. We're going to get answers. We're going to get to the bottom of it. We want people the exact same thing that we're seeing now is what would have happened if Trump would have been dead. And for anybody out there saying, oh, no, man, that would have started R2, Rick. That would have been it. People would have had enough. I don't believe that shit for a second. They've stolen an election. They've put a puppet in there. We've got a president that fucking can't even understand how to walk upstairs. He doesn't even know where he's at half the freaking time. We don't know who's running the country. He's isolated. He doesn't even talk to the vice president. His staff can't have access to him. Nobody does shit. The media covers him. The left covers him. Everybody covers him. Meanwhile, the Republicans run around and talk about how we're going to get to the answer and we're going to stop this and we're going to fuck all you motherfuckers. I'm just so tired of them. So this is supposedly drone footage from the shooter the day before or 2 days before the rally. So the shooter, and I'm not sure the agency, I forgot. I thought it showed it at the bottom on what agency put this out or what news media. But the drone, the shooter was able to fly a drone over this area, which, again, critical error. The first thing you do on your advanced team is you start identifying threats or you start identifying places. I mean, when you show up to scene, you're like, okay, if I wanted to kill the president, how would I do it? First, I got to probably secure an area. Got to make sure the stage is set. We got to have metal detectors. We got to have a route in and a route out. We got to have an emergency evacuation plan. Where's the aircraft gonna, in case we need an air evac out of here? Where's the fire truck going to come from? How many roads do we have in and out? Where can somebody shoot him? Well, they could shoot him from the tower. They could shoot him from that roof, and they could shoot him that roof. Well, if we're going to have people on this roof, they can secure all these. What about that? I mean, that's just basic. So if you're on site a week or 2 weeks, I think there's a 2 week, maybe there's a 3 week advance team. And then there's a 2 week advance team, then maybe a week. And then the pre-arrival is like a day or two before. And then you have your team that shows up with the president. So there's all these layers that are supposed to be protection. And when you go there early, a lot of times when I was working a dog for the Secret Service, is that's when we would be there like the day or so before. And that's when we're doing our final check. Every threat area, every manhole cover, search with the dog, put tamper-proof tape on it. It's got tape on it to where if the manhole cover is removed, the tape is torn, and then it's no longer secure. So once I run a dog, we tape it. We know that manhole cover is not being removed. We do that with doors, windows, cars that can't be removed. No, we just tow every freaking car that we can't get out of the way. But that's how you do a pre-op. Everything is checked, okay? And then the day before, somebody does a walkthrough, and they know every place that we checked, every place that was taped, and they go check all those tapes. And if we run across a manhole cover and the tape is, the tamper-proof tape is torn, we're like, this needs to be re-cleared. Why was this torn? Was it removed? Check what this is supposed to be a secure area. Nobody should have been here. How did this happen? And so then we would bring a dog back. We'd clear it then. They may pull the manhole cover. They may put a man down there to search and clear it. Again, this is all in a route or anywhere that's close. That's a threat to the president. Well, now with drones, your advanced team, you can't tell me they don't have a way. They put a freaking geo net. I mean, a buddy of mine, Danny, the one that was just on freaking here saying he wanted to go to lunch. He tried to take a drone off. We met for lunch in Fort Worth, and he tried to show me his drone and tried to take it off in the parking lot. And it wouldn't let him take it off because we were too close to an airport. And the airport had this geo net that said drones can't fly within so many miles or feet or whatever of an airport. And he couldn't even take off from the freaking parking lot his drone. He had a remote control. He's like, well, it's not working. It won't take off. And we figured out we were in the geo net around the airport. You're telling me where a president's going to be, they don't put a geo net up to where drones can't come in and fly? Are you kidding me? I mean, that should have been up a week ago. Instead, we're letting the shooter actually fly a drone and gather intel, because that's what drones would do, would be gathering intel. You're looking for where the stage is going to be out. Where's the president? Where's the escape route? Where are the routes? Where's the people go? Where's he going to be facing? Where do you think the snipers are going to be? It was just colossal failure after failure. Again, what's the difference between planning and just complete incompetence? I forgot what this dude said. Counter sniper. What was this? What did this
Aaron,
dumbass?
there's been some developments as the investigation has progressed. You know, what the investigators are telling us is, as far as a motive, a manifesto, the reasoning behind this, the suspect is still a blank slate. But what they have developed is a lot of the background about what happened that day. They know that he went to his employer at the nursing home where he works as a dietary specialist before this and said, I need Saturday off. I have something important to do. but he told his coworkers, "I'll see you on Sunday."
Okay, so they're making out that because he said, "I'll see you on Sunday," that somehow he knew he was going to be back to work. And I'm like, come on, people. The guy supposedly has no social media. Now we know he has 3 encrypted accounts overseas, whatever the hell that means. And he had 2 cell phones, and he had a remote control. And I think they finally connected a white van to him, which they're not really saying, but there's a white van with Arizona plates that they towed. And now there's a report that maybe there was a bomb in it, that he was trying to blow up the tower. I think I got a video on that. But well, just because he said he's going back to work, obviously, if you're going to try and kill the president, you're not going to go, hey, man, I need Saturday off, and you're probably never going to see me again. That might put up flags. So the guy's smart enough not to have a social media. He's smart enough to plan all this shit. He's smart enough to freaking get in and do all this bullshit. But somehow, because he said, I'm going to be back to work Sunday, they're saying he was planning on coming to work Sunday. Look, it's almost damn near impossible to protect somebody against someone who's willing to die. It's just, that's why I've said under most coups, most civil wars, government can never afford to trade 1 for 1. That's why you always make it more costly for your enemy. Government never has the same as the people, unless you're in China, and then, you know, everybody's part of the government. Then they can afford, because they lose 1 for 1, they're going to take out anybody that's going to resist. But in a free country, remember, tyranny's easy, freedom is hard. In a free country where the government is supposed to be small and controlled by we, the many, the people, there's no way government can take a 1 for 1 loss, which is why if they went door to door collecting guns and a cop got killed at every place they went to go collect a gun, they would stop going door to door, because they just cannot lose 1 body per 1 body. You government just can't do it. It's a losing battle for them. They have to be able to take out 4 to 1, 5 to 1, 10 to 1. Same. I mean, just in all tactical warfare, you always want your enemy to take more losses than you. So what else is he saying here?
So he changed his days off, presumably for this. We also understand that when he got to the fairgrounds where this rally was being held for Donald Trump, the first thing that puts him on the radar of security people is near the magnetometer area where they're screening people in. He's carrying in his hand a rangefinder. It's a device that looks like a small pair of binoculars, but it's used by shooters to...
It's also used by other people. I mean, I've got a rangefinder that I have certain. I was making a range card. You know what a range card is? If in combat, if you got an area responsibility, you make a range card and you figure out points so you know their distance. So I know my rooster is 300 feet from this position, and I know the big tree by the pond is this far. And so I have different points around the house that if I have to shoot this area, I know exactly how far that is. If I see something, a target, a threat, you know, a pig or something, some crazy animal, then I know if I shoot at that target in that area, I know about how far it is. That far way I can adjust my sights or use my gun appropriately. So for him to use a rangefinder there, that could also be most rangefinders are usually 1. I mean, maybe they make 2. I'm sure they do. Mine's just a one-handed, 1 eye, like a little telescope. And so what if he has one of those? That could be a single binocular. That in and of itself isn't bad. Someone else said he was caught looking at the sniper, and the sniper was looking back at him. And that should have been a huge threat. Anytime I've been up in any type of tower, or we have a SWAT guy up, or I'm spotting, or I'm the sniper, whatever, everybody with binoculars look at you. That's just the way. You can't run around and go, everybody that looks at me is a threat. Everybody with a set of binoculars wants to cruise to the guy up in a high point with a gun and check out his gun. What's he doing? It's just what they do. So the fact that these people are trying to make out, oh my God, he was caught with a rangefinder looking at him, it does sound suspicious if you just say, wow, that's kind of odd that he walks in and they know it and they caught him looking and they ask him about it. And he had a backpack and he didn't have a backpack. And later he did have a backpack. And where was the ladder? And he didn't bring a ladder. He used the the air conditioning unit, and then he didn't get help. And then so the story keeps changing again. When government wants to confuse you, they put out what's called misinformation, very common, used in warfare all the time. Shit, in World War I, we spent thousands, I want to say it was like 20,000 fake paratroopers to fake an attack on one area and when we were actually hitting another area. But in order to think the enemy that we're attacking there, we filled up all these dummies with parachutes and flew the planes and started dropping all these fake paratroopers. So from a distance, people were like, holy shit, they're going to be an invasion. They're putting all these troops here. The enemy shifted things this way when in fact we were going to hit here. It's called disinformation. So, I mean, this isn't anything new. It's been happening for years.
Measure the distance when they're setting up a long distance shot. Because he didn't have a weapon, that would not have prevented him to go through security.
Another thing that accusing, and I'd heard this earlier, but I couldn't confirm it. Today, Bongino confirmed it. These two guys here that everybody's showing took out the shooter, according to Bongino, it was the other team that is not shown that ended up taking out the shooter. These guys didn't have a clear line of sight because of the trees. The other shooter had a clear line. So evidently the shooter, they're showing him here, he was actually in these trees. So these guys actually didn't take out the shooter. It was the other guy. And then another thing that I wanted to clear up that everybody's telling me about is, fuck, I lost my train of thought. Something about the shooting and where they were at. Oh, shit. Damn it. I saw a comment over here and then I lost my train of thought.
But they did flag, what does he have this in his hand for? At that point, they told people, keep an eye on this guy, but then he leaves the secure area, the staging area, and he doesn't turn up again for some time until the crowd says there's a guy crawling up the roof and it appears he has a rifle. There is an eerie moment in here, Aaron, where he's taking the rangefinder and he's looking through it at the counter sniper positions. And one of the counter sniper positions is looking at him through the scope. At this point, there's not a gun in the picture, as I understand it, but they're saying he's looking at us, looking at him.
Yeah. Now, they may have said that if he was already on the radar and they're like, this dude's acting suspicious. And that would tell me why the spotter or the sniper was looking back at him to say, who's this guy they're talking about? Now, I still don't even know how they got that picture. Remember, they took a picture of him, and I don't know where they got that picture. I mean, with the technology today, I would think the spotter has some high target visibility picture. I mean, again, why we didn't have a drone in the air that could follow him, that could track him. I mean, hell, I can go buy a freaking $400 drone on Amazon right now, put it on tracking mode on me, and I can walk around my whole property. The drone will follow me. I mean, how hard is it to have a $400 drone that you got a threat, you fly the drone over, you put the camera on it, and you go lock onto this target, and it follows them. You don't even have to do anything. You've got a camera, a drone follow it. This is so basic. And not even a thought for the crack federal agents, U.S. Secret Service, FBI, ATF, CIA, all of them. They're all so good.
Then when people alert the police and they try to come up the ladder to get him, and he confronts them with the AR-15 gun, they dive for cover, and then a moment later he opens fire. But a lot of this sounds very spread out. The end of it happens very quickly. The last piece is the search of the car. As we reported last night, 2 remote-controlled IEDs.
Okay, IEDs, they later confirmed that it was fireworks. So why would he have fireworks? A distraction. I mean, he could have set them off. If he got trapped and he was trying to get away, he could set them off. It would distract forces that were going after him to go to his car because popping, fireworks, explosion went off, whatever. There's still a couple videos out there. There was an explosion somewhere, and that's what the pause was. And Bongino was talking about that today, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Remote-controlled bombs in the car.
All right.
The remote control for the...
This woman, just a despicable piece of shit. She was so smug and so arrogant and so I'm good because I sit down to pee. I was hired because of what bathroom I use. I'm friends with Jill. None of you people can hurt me. I'm getting paid in a retirement, and screw all you idiots that think I work for you. This is the typical attitude of every government, cop, police, federal, state, local sheriff. Every cop out there has the same attitude. I don't work for you fucking people. You don't pay my salary. I get paid. I get a retirement. My buddy just sent me, my partner, as a matter of fact, when we worked together, we were both making about 100 grand a year. He's still working. Guess how much he made last year? He sent me a little chart on just the 10 top paid sergeants in his agency. So somebody put down a comment on what do you think a sergeant in a police department in California makes a year? I'll tell you because this thing's slow. 479,000. He almost made $500,000 as a sergeant. I am so tired of people telling me how hard cops' jobs are and how tough it is and how difficult it is. And it's a fucking job. It's a good job. I enjoyed chasing bad guys. I didn't need more money. Hell, I thought I was freaking overpaid when I was freaking working. Overtime and all the freaking benefits. It's ridiculous how much cops make. And all I hear is these poor cops. It's so, this guy says, hey man, I made 479 grand last year. And he goes, I was number 8. There were 7 sergeants above me that made more. And people are like, man, it's such a tough job. And Rick, it's really hard to get caught. Ain't no fucking cops quitting. They know they have it made. They got a cush fucking job. There are no requirements. They have immunity. They get to run around and do what the fuck they want when they want with a car. No liability whatsoever. And people are like feeling sorry for him. Rick, you should back the blue. And it's hard. And shut the fuck up. $500,000 a year? Come on. It's fucking crazy. Oh, by the way, when he retires in next year, he's got 1 year left. He gets 90% of his salary for the rest of his life. And his retirement is based on his last 3 years of service. So if he makes 500 grand the next 2 years, his salary will be based on those last 3 highest years. And he'll be getting 90% of that for the rest of his life. Rick, it's a really tough job, and they have a uniform and they're in the public eye. And Rick, you need to feel sorry. Shut the fuck! All you idiots that keep backing up. I've never seen a type of ignorant people that one allows their borders to be invaded, that allows the 13% of the population that creates 90% of the crime, and somehow they are promoted to every position in judge, Supreme Court, doctors. We have to cater to the most destructive force in the country. And these same fucking idiots have learned to worship the ground that the tyranny enforcers are enforcing on them daily. And somehow it's anti-American to freaking question a cop with the authority to kill you and not be held accountable. I just don't get it. It boggles my freaking mind. So this guy went up in a second story, and here's another conflict that we're hearing. So Trump was out here. The 2 snipers were here. Oh, hang on, let me blow that up. So the two Secret Service snipers were here. According to the Secret Service, local police were supposed to be on this roof, which they weren't because the little female thought it was too hot. So the shooter got up on here, and this guy went on a tour. So this is the roof. People are like, how can he get on a roof with an air conditioner? If there's an air conditioning, hell, I don't even need an air conditioning unit. I can get up on this roof with no air conditioning. The roof, it's only as tall as a freaking door. It's not that tall. You get on this roof, now you're on this roof. People are like, he needed a ladder, Rick. He didn't need a ladder. I think the ladder you saw was from later where the cops got a ladder to get up there, but I don't know. So he's out of a window that's behind this building that they confirmed. You'll see on the wall, there's drawings and diagrams that the cops put up there. So this room was occupied with cops, but yet your shooter was able to climb up there and get rounds off. So this was a staging room, an ops room, a secondary room.
All right, guys, I'm up here on the building where the supposed sniper took his shot. It's not that steep at all. We just had a 70-year-old man back.
Now remember, the Secret Service said this was too steep for Secret Service. And he's saying this guy behind him, I think, is 80 years old, and he's up here.
Here, climb up on the roof easily. See that water tower behind me? Had Secret Service or anybody had sniper teams up there.
I said that first day. This would have been your primary. You don't even need a sniper team. You can just put somebody up there with a pair of binoculars or a spotting scope or something, or a guy maybe with a drone who could fly from up there and check out things. I mean, this would have been my primary number one. We need to control that real estate. That's mine. That belongs to us, Secret Service, the cops, who's ever in charge. That belongs to us. We need to secure it, have it manned, and make sure that that's our high ground. Pretty simple.
This guy wouldn't have made it 5 feet up this roof. He would have been taken out. Behind me, you see the windows.
So the windows where the cops were didn't see the guy. Why? Because they were lazy ass cops eating donuts, laughing, joking, and smoking, building a resume, talking about how tough their fucking job is, crying, thinking about how they're going to write tickets tomorrow, fucking tax the shit out of citizens, harass people, try to arrest somebody for obstruction because they didn't kiss their ass.
Secret Service was supposedly in the second floor of this building behind. Makes you wonder why they weren't able to quickly dispatch.
How could you not see a guy on a roof?
The individual.
Unless you weren't looking.
And then behind me, back over here where those red roofs are, that's where the stage was set up. That's where the president was giving his speech from. A lot of questions here in Butler.
All right. Again, more questions, no answers. So this dude with the gray suit, this has been getting a lot of traction. I don't know who he is. I find it odd that he was allowed on the roof and nobody knew who he was. Let me say that again. This guy in a gray suit was allowed on a crime scene that just tried to assassinate the president. He was the first guy up there before they confirmed he was dead. He was up there and nobody knows who he was. They thought, the crack boys in blue that everybody wants to back, they thought he was Secret Service. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen his lapel, but I can tell who's Secret Service at any of these events pretty damn quick. And if the cops there didn't know that, well, that's just even more incompetent. But the fact now that nobody knows who he is, and the person in charge of Secret Service says she don't know who he is, this stinks to high heaven. How does a guy in a suit that nobody knows who he is gets into the hottest crime scene in the past 50 years of our history, a murder plot, an actual murder scene because he killed somebody? This is a murder investigation. This is lockdown crime preservation 101. Nobody has access to that area. And this guy in a suit gets up there and nobody knows who he is. That stinks pretty bad. Not convinced a conspiracy yet, but there sure are a lot of dots that appears to be connecting.
We are trying to find out what
this guy right here.
There is a suspect. If the suspect is in custody or taken down,
nobody knows who he is.
It would not be surprising because there was very quick response, as there always would be.
He was the first guy on the roof. According to some reports, before they confirmed, it was manually confirmed in person that the guy was dead. The spotters say he was dead because they probably shot him in the head, said he's gone. We took him out with a headshot. He's no longer a threat. But he wasn't observed until this guy went up there. And according to this, he was, let's see, what does it say? Gray suit, climbed on the roof and told any official that took a picture of Thomas' body to send those pictures to a phone number he provided. We don't know what the phone number is, who the phone number is registered to, and who this guy was. That's just flat out lies. Somebody knows. Somebody sent a photo to that phone number. Somebody, maybe the FBI who's investigating, could track down that phone number and say, who got this? Who got these pictures and who is this guy? And they're saying they don't know. That stinks. Like I said, that's getting quite a bit of information.
Lawyers under a microscope on Capitol Hill again today. The House Homeland Security Committee is holding the second congressional hearing looking into the attempted assassination of former President Trump. But for today's hearing, heads of the Secret Service, FBI, and Homeland Security have all declined to testify.
Declined to testify. Didn't they just send Bannon to jail for refusing a congressional subpoena? And these freaking traitorous motherfuckers all just said, fuck you. We ain't testifying. And there'll be idiots running around. Rick, we should vote because the people work for us. And it's just so frustrating to give a shit. This was interesting because
that chart's a couple of months.
It appears that those guys engaged something.
If
right
you
here.
want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
So when I first showed this video, I remember saying this cop, because I didn't know if these were police or Secret Service. To be honest, I still don't know. I think I'm being told they're Secret Service, but I still don't really know. You know, if we were given briefings every day, hey, people were there. I can't believe nobody in the crowd got a close-up picture of these guys and hasn't released it and put it out somewhere. Not one person. I mean, look, if you're going to a Trump rally, just a little tip, I'd be taking pictures of freaking everybody with my zoom on of every freaking camera and video of everybody I see that supposedly works for our freaking government, that is in contact or etc. I just can't believe that nobody has a picture and said, look, this guy is Special Agent so-and-so, and this guy is Special Agent so-and-so. You work for the government. You're not secret. You're not working undercover. Your identity. If you can get up on a fucking roof, then you're not some secret, squirrel police shit that nobody can know your identity. This bullshit about, oh, we're not releasing names and identity. Shut the fuck up. They're government employees. We can know how much they make. We know where they work. We can file a complaint on them. They work for the people. And now all of a sudden, oh no, we can't release their name. That's all bullshit. So when the first round goes off, this guy flinches and this guy drops to the ground. Watch this guy. He takes cover. I thought this guy fired. Maybe they did fire and miss. Bongino said the other guys are the ones that took him out. So they fired maybe through the trees, missed. We haven't even been told how many rounds hit the suspect. What were the rounds that hit the suspect? How many times was he hit? Who fired the round that hit the suspect? How many rounds were fired at the suspect and missed? Where did those rounds go? Did we collect the bullets from the trees, from the building? Do we even know where those rounds went? This is the most secretive investigation. It's supposed to be transparent that I've ever seen in my life. We still know jack shit about what's going on.
We got breaking news.
So here at one point, it's hard to tell here. I saw it before. But when they first engage, they're looking straight ahead toward the shooter, right? Something draws their attention to the right. And nobody knows what that is.
Take a look at what happened.
And again, if I'm an investigator, I'm reviewing this. These are the questions I'm asking. And this is how a debrief goes. I mean, if I'm investigating a shooting, I call the cop in. I go, hey, dude, watch this video. At this point, what did you see? When did you fire the first shot? When you fired the first shot, what were you shooting at? Suspect in cami pants. Okay. And then at this point, your direction is re-altered to this direction. What caused you to move your focus from here to there? What were you looking at? What did you see? Why were you looking in a different direction? Did you think there was a second shooter? What caused you to move? We're not getting any of those questions or answers. Watch his direction. He's here. And now his direction is going to change. It went over here to this. So he was shooting in this direction, and now he's looking over here. Why? What changed his direction of focus? And why? We'll never know. So I didn't know there was a machine, evidently, that you could run a speech on and tell if it was IA voices or real voices. And evidently somebody ran on Biden's talking points or endorsing Kamala, and it was like 98% that it was AI.
Yesterday's news was surprising, and it's hard for you to hear, but it was the right thing to do. I know it's hard because you poured your heart and soul into me.
Okay, let's just go on old 11 Labs and see if that's really all they probably used for this. So upload. There we go. And let's see what we got. Yeah, looks like they didn't even really try.
Probability 98%. This audio was generated by a freaking AI program. Again, is this true? I don't know. I'm just sharing things. I mean, you can take the things that agree with you and you can ignore. What the hell was this? Oh, this guy kind of grilled her pretty good.
And the entire Secret Service missed it. Director Cheatle, in your leadership, your agency got outsmarted and outmaneuvered by a 20-year-old. How can we have any confidence?
Those are absolutely questions that we need to have.
I know they're questions, but the fact of the matter is we can't have that confidence. Director, do you have the ability personally, and do you have the authority to beef up security of any of your protectees?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So were you also aware there was a credible threat President Trump was facing? He was facing a heightened security threat to a foreign adversary?
Yes.
Okay. So given that there was an increased threat to President Trump's life, was he provided a full security complement akin to what a sitting U.S. president would receive?
This is what you call double talk here. This is he's asking her if he got the same thing that a full president would be. And she's going to be like, well, full president gets different because he is the president and he isn't the president. At a certain point, once you have a nominee, Trump now gets security briefings just like Biden because he's the leading candidate. He could be president in a few months. So they don't want a war to start or something to go on. And he ends up getting elected and he's got to go in cold. So he's getting security briefings and he's got to be protected as if he's going to be the next president. Now, normally, of course, obviously, the current president is going to get more resources than the candidate president. But it's not like, Trump gets 4 people and Biden gets 200. It's not like that. It's a little more. He's got Air Force One. He's got a security detail. He's got dedicated people. So he's going to have a little bit more resources available to him. But Trump should be pretty close to the same security. And she gives us double talk bullshit here.
Full complement of security based on the threat.
Full security complement akin to what a sitting U.S. president would receive?
He was provided a full complement of security based on.
She didn't say what a president will receive.
On the threat assessment that we had.
That's not my question.
And the venue.
My question is, if he'd been the sitting president, would he have had the same security he had on July 13th, or would have been beefed up?
There is a difference between the sitting president.
So your answer is he didn't.
And continuity of government and the responsibility that we have.
So he did not. Okay, there wasn't a CAT team, the full CAT team on site. There wasn't counter surveillance teams on site. But this is the thing. You just said you had the ability to beef up the security. You knew about the threat, and you didn't. And that's as telling is it is chilling. We have satellite images from the Butler Fairgrounds. Have you visited the site?
No, I have not.
9 days and you have not visited the site. You should have been there that night. Did you talk to, that evening, did you talk to the team, the heroes that surrounded the president? Did you call them that night?
They were still operational work.
So that's an answer is no. Did you call them the next day?
President. Yes.
What a smug, arrogant, incompetent, entitled piece of shit. Who thinks that this girl voted for Trump or voted for Biden? Yeah.
I spoke with.
You called them the very next day, not the day of, or was it 72 hours after?
I don't know the timeline, but I spoke.
She lied several times. A lot of people have pointed out a few things that she lied about. She's under oath, which I think all of our politicians ought to, every speech they give has to be under penalty of perjury. That would stop all this bullshit lying all the time.
Spoke with
Okay,
them
because you're under oath.
immediately
I
following.
think it was 72 hours after you waited 3 days. What is immediately clear?
A president is almost killed and shot at because of your negligence, and it takes 3 days for you to talk to the team that was there. Wow.
Is that there are a number of structures that need to be secured. Of these, Director, other than the first, immediate 4, what's the most dangerous site that should have been secured? Because security 101, you got to mitigate the high ground.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what the next most dangerous site, what was the closest structure to the president, other than the 4 immediate ones that you had your counter sniper teams on?
There are a number of structures around that event site.
You know who the shooter knew? The shooter has visited the site 2 more times than you have, and he had a drone, and he picked the AGR building. So you said, do you remember in an ABC interview you did that you didn't have people on the roof of the AGR building because you were worried about safety because of the slope?
I recall that statement.
Okay. Does the Secret Service have written policy you can share with us about slope roofs?
Oh, shit. I don't know why I keep getting.
No.
So why'd you?
Wow, there's not policy on slope roofs? And in the middle of a heated, hostile campaign where Trump is the most hated person by the left ever, hated by your side, I should say. Instead of saying the left, I'll just say your side. And you're responsible for guarding him? Yeah, that's always going to work out well.
You act like there was one, because is it your practice to comment on enormous events of enormous national implications when you're ignorant of the facts? That's rhetorical. So here's this thing with the slopes. You go all up to like 1812. You can go to a 112, which is about as flat as you can get without it being completely flat. And you're saying that there was a danger, safety concern there. But the problem is, Director, you put your counter snipers on a 312 roof, which is steeper than the 112. And by the way, the 112 is ADA compliant. You can build a ramp for a wheelchair on a 112 roof. So these are nothing but pathetic excuses, and they make no sense, and they're a bunch of cow dung. All the law enforcement I've spoken with over the last 9 days are amazed that the AGR rooftop was not secure. You want to know why? Because it's dangerous. I have never had any long gun training in my life.
So this guy kind of loses credibility with me here. He's trying to show that he's got a gun. He's got an AR and he's fired it once in 6 years.
I own an AR-15, and last time I shot it one time my whole life. It was 6 years ago. That is until
6 years ago. Every time I hear somebody I own, maybe he's got more than one. He didn't say I only own one, but it sounds like
Saturday, where we recreated the events in Savoy, Texas. We recreated what happened in Butler. I was lying prone on a sloped roof at 130 yards at 6:30 at night. And I knew that he had a scope. I didn't know what kind, red dot or magnified. So I shot 8 rounds from both. You know what the result was? 15 out of 16 kill shots. And the one I missed would have hit the president's ear. That's a 94% success rate. And that shooter was a better shot than me. It is a miracle President Trump wasn't killed.
he brought his targets. You know, that triggered all the liberals.
Corey Comparatori's life is over because that damn shooter made it on the roof. And it wasn't the roof that was dangerous. It was a nut job on.
So I'm glad he threw that in before they started saying it's the gun, if we got rid of the guns. I'm really surprised there hasn't been a huge outcry for the guns. What is this one? So this is a letter from John Hawley from Missouri. And it says, slope roof, additional on July 19th, an additional whistleblowers have contacted my office with troubling information about the assassination. American Glass Research, one whistleblower with direct knowledge of Secret Service planning for the event alleges that there was supposed to be law enforcement present on the roof that day. Bongino said the same thing from his things. In fact, the whistleblower alleges at least one specific assigned to the roof for the duration of the rally, which is normally you want somebody up there. Doesn't have to be. Usually sniper teams are put out in two. You got a spotter and a sniper, but you can just put a spotter out. And all he is basically an early warning. He's just another person to scan for irregularities. Maybe he's up there when somebody yells, hey, there's a guy with a gun. He can find him and tell his other friendly little law enforcement people. But they didn't have anybody up there. Whistleblower further alleges concerns promoted law enforcement forgo Building 6 instead of the station security inside the building. Additionally, I heard from DHS Homeland Security has nearly completed its report, providing the rally. Please furnish a copy of the report, blah, 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 blah. So who's the whistleblower? You know, whatever. So this was Biden today. And this is the first time we've seen him since he said he's pulling out. And I don't know if he said he pulled out. We don't know who's been running, who's been signing things. Someone else has been running the country for no how long. But this is the first time he showed his face since he got COVID and dropped out of the race.
Why did you drop out, Mr. President?
They ask him, why did you drop out of the president? And he looks like it's the first time he heard it.
Why did you drop out of the election?
He laughs like, I didn't drop out. What are you talking about? I mean, this is just amazing.
Why did you drop out of the election? Was it a difficult decision to make?
Oh, look, he's got a little ponytail quota hire too. Oh, look, she's probably good. All right, I got a few more tabs. Hell, where am I? Hour 17 minutes. I got to get out of here. What was this one? Oh, I just thought this wasn't really with the president, but I just thought it was kind of interesting that this just popped up. They're putting...
Don't understand the underlying need or logic.
If a food source has a human vaccine in it, we would deem that a pharmaceutical in Tennessee to make sure that we don't overdose or underdose that food source.
I mean, how's this going to play out?
House Bill 1894 classifies any food that contains a vaccine or vaccine material as a drug under the Tennessee Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. Defines vaccine or vaccine material as a substance intended for use in humans to stimulate the production of antibodies and provide immunity against disease that is authorized or approved by the United States Food and Drug Administration. Chairman.
Well, obviously we can trust another federal agency, Food and Drug Administration, because they would never lie or give an emergency authorization for a freaking vaccine that was killing people, and the manufacturers won't give us the ingredients for 45 years, and they're immune from any lawsuit for any deaths or anything. Obviously, we can trust the FDA. Come on.
I'll answer questions.
Can you give me an example of a food that's a vaccine?
You're right. Yes, sir. University of California, Riverside has already perfected the ability to put human vaccines into our lettuce right now. Also tomatoes has the ability to do that also for UC Berkeley. And then Big Tobacco, RJ Reynolds and stuff has perfected the ability to put a human vaccine into the tobacco product.
Well, that's pretty interesting. I thought that was kind of like, really? Left-wing universities all are figuring out ways to put vaccines into lettuce, tomatoes, tobacco products. The vaccines, according to some people, are killing a lot of people. There's a lot of people saying we're overpopulated and we need to depopulate the earth. Global warming and all, save the freaking planet. And the only way to do that is to kill all the humans. And we have dumbasses that are voting like, yeah, they ain't volunteering to be the first one killed to save the planet, but they want everyone else killed to save the planet. Yeah, that's pretty interesting, I thought. Anyway, sorry, I got off Trump thing here. What's my next one? Oh, here's the white van. So, suspect tried to blow up water tower with a van after the botched attempt on Trump's life was then moved a few miles away where it was found. That makes no sense whatsoever. If the van was by the water tower, who moved it? And why was it towed when it was close to the shooter's house when they went there later? Remember, the van was towed away full of apparent explosives. I don't know about explosives. Whereas a bomb squad, before it took it away, a similar van was spotted under the water tower during the shooting. Second shooter was then seen at the water tower. Audio below. I don't believe that a second shooter is at the water tower. And let's see, the former cover-up, etc. So that's the van that was towed with the Arizona plates. They're saying, I guess that's where the van was parked under the water tower. And the multiple shooter thing. So I haven't seen anything that convinced me that there was the water towers involved in this. Trump tweeted out today, did not properly protect me, and I was forced to take a bullet for democracy. It was my greatest honor to do so. Sometimes Trump says shit that I just think is fucking stupid. It's not my honor to take a bullet for fucking this country. It's my honor to make other motherfuckers and the enemy of this country take a bullet. So I can't believe he said that. I mean, I think his intent was, I'm running. I'm proud to run for president. And if it costs me my life, then I'm working for the right thing. I get it. But the statement, the left's just eating this up. That's all I've heard on the radio today, that Trump's out there saying it's his honor to take bullets for democracy. And this democracy versus our republic has always bothered me. If you look at any time in our past history of the United States, when we want to take over another country or go get involved in Iraq, Afghanistan, Grenada, freaking Vietnam, you name it, wherever we've stuck our nose into shit, democracy is always the reason we use. We're saving or protecting democracy. It is a theme run by our government and the CIA, and it is a keyword that we have been programmed for, and you probably don't even know it, but you go back to every conflict that the U.S. has been in, and that word will have been used as why we're getting involved in this bullshit. And now they have used and made that word now a landmine or a trigger word that they have to save our democracy now. But every time we use that word, we end up using force, destroying freedoms, and impregnating or fucking implanting or installing our own government or bullshit. So I'm not a fan of that, but Trump said it, whatever. Okay, so that's the picture that they're trying to suppress now. I haven't been paying attention to the comments. This has been going on for an hour and 20. I got to get out of here with my throat, so I'm out of water. Anyway, democracy is mob rule. Yes, it is. Is it Saturday? No, it's not Saturday. I just decided to come on because I was tired. I haven't been on the computer, like I said, in 3 days. This cold, man. I had a fever for 2 days. Didn't really want to eat. Didn't want to do anything. I mean, I lost a couple pounds, which probably ain't a bad thing, but man, this cold just kicked my ass. And now I've just got congestion. I finally feel like I said, I'm going to go play some pickleball tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be all right. Federalism is it's not even on the way. It's been being installed for years now. Let's see. Do you think Ray Charles could have done a better job? Yeah, I absolutely do think Ray Charles could have. Constitution, what was that? Constitution, so the second will not become a legalized version of the first. There was a big thing about ARs. I haven't heard about that. I know there's that shooting that I need to cover. I watched that video today. of that woman where the cop shot her because supposedly she had boiling water. What a freaking, and now he's being charged with freaking a good murder. I mean, I forgot what they're charging him with, but he's got and he's sitting in jail. They put his ass in jail and they denied his bail. So I like it when they start putting cops in jail. I'm just waiting for the Back the Blue crowd to come out and go, oh, the poor guy. He has such a tough, he didn't need to shoot that woman. The video will probably be out in a day or so, but it was ridiculous. She was crazy. He had no business. He should have left anyway. He was macho, full of tattooed, thought he was hot shit, and found a reason he could shoot her. So he shot her because she picked up a boiling water and said some crazy shit like, I'm going to get Jesus from you or something. And now his ass is in jail. Good. Good. The more cops that go to jail, maybe the cops will start thinking before they start killing people. Cops have become conditioned that our pesky citizens' lives ain't worth shit because every time we kill one, nothing happens. So what do we care? And that's a bad thing when your government thinks that citizens' lives have no worth. And I guarantee you, 90% of cops, they don't give a fuck. I mean, Supreme Court's already ruled they have no duty to act. They let all the kids get killed. They have no duty to act when the other school shooting, the cop hit outside. And now they're freaking crying, oh, every time we kill somebody, we're in fear of our life. Our cops are so out of control. Make some honey and cayenne pepper lemon juice. I did drink some lemon juice. I went and got some lemons. I ate I had some good meatballs today with some garlic, fresh crushed garlic. Woo, man. Yeah, Sonia Massey. That's the name of the woman that video come out. If you want to go watch the video, I'm pretty sure it's on Rumble. It's pretty long. I think it's like 45 minutes, but the shooting part is relatively short and it's ridiculous. But I'm sure there'll be some people out there black and blue. They had to. It was her fault. Now they're trying to make it into this racist thing, which I don't give a shit. Both cops were white. She was black. She was stupid. She shouldn't have did what she did. But she shouldn't have died for being stupid. If we could shoot stupid people, we could probably save the country. But, you know, who's going to decide who's stupid and who isn't? Let's see. Video's out. Yeah, I said it's on Rumble or whatever. The video's out. My video isn't out. I haven't given my opinion on it yet. Acorn hit. All right. Well, shit.